Hey guys, welcome back to Once Upon a Time in Gaming. If this is your first time here, this is where we challenge each other to play games from the past to see if they hold up today. My name is Richard.
I'm Rich.
I'm Jared.
Brad.
Oh, God.
If you weren't here with us last week, it was Jared's challenge, and he chose Universal Studios on the GameCube. Jared?
So, we decided to do Universal Studios GameCube.
Great game.
We'll start with you, Rich. What did you think?
So, maybe let's rehash like what we thought about the game originally. Like going into this game, I didn't know what to expect really. I don't remember playing it too much. I was, even that being said, like I was disappointed. Like it was like beyond bad. I mean, there were some like I guess redeeming qualities, but there were too many things where I'm just like there's no need to come back. After about an hour and a half, I was kind of done. So
you only played about an hour and a half.
No, I played for 3 hours, but after an hour and a half, I didn't want to play anymore.
So if I'm not mistaken, you said you played it for about 3 hours, and then Brad played it for about another 2 hours.
Something like that.
So you
yeah.
saw about 5 hours.
Yes.
And you're saying it does not hold up.
I don't know if it holds up or doesn't hold up, but it like I said, I didn't have high expectations for it, and it still was like every ride I got on, I'm like, okay, maybe this is the one that like redeems the game, and none of them were worth anything. They were horrible. They weren't too okay. I was also playing on easy, and some of them were like very difficult. Like I was fighting Biff, like trying to crash his car. That took me a bunch of times. The quiz was really hard. It was tough for being on easy. So I was confused on if it's for little kids, like it kind of seemed like it was. Why was it as difficult as it was? But if it was for older adults or older people, it just wasn't. Like it was confusing to me.
Well, first thing I struggled with was the quiz, and I think I like to think I know a lot about movies. It was really hard. It must have taken me 5 or 6 times to do it, and it had a lot of questions about Columbo. Like I don't understand what was the question with Columbo. I guess it's NBC Universal apparently. A lot of questions about Columbo, and I watched the show.
Actually,
and I was struggling.
hang on. I think this was before NBC was even involved with Universal when this game came out.
That
had.
I don't know, but it had Columbo
Good
questions.
question.
Yeah, so we should have probably maybe done a little research on that. But now that you mention that, they must be part of it somehow because I'm pretty sure NBC Universal happened like in 2005.
Yeah, it had a lot. It had obscure questions too, like what was the person's mom's name in the movie? I'm like, how am I supposed to know this?
Yeah.
Because remember you told me, hey, the quiz is super hard. There's no way you're gonna pass it right away. And I'm like, I was at work. I'm like, yeah, right. I'll be able to nail this 4 or 5 tries.
Well, the worst
and
part
I struggled on the last one to beat it.
Yeah, I think the worst part about it too was when you were done. Like the little, like what was her name? It wasn't Woody Woodpecker. It was the girl Woodpecker.
Yeah.
Wiley?
Something, and she's like, you need to watch more movies, and I'm like,
Oh wait, I thought that was Woody Woodpecker.
no, it was a girl Woodpecker.
I was so pissed off I couldn't beat it.
was a girl
didn't even pay
Woodpecker.
attention.
Yeah. Brad, how about you? What'd you think?
Well, I think we need to go back to the fact that I think the Metacritic score was 45. So when it came out, it wasn't deemed a good game. So it does hold up as a average game, I guess. I noticed the controls were horrendous. I mean, if you did you guys do Backdraft? Backdraft was so bad where if the camera changed around, let's say you're moving straight, the only way you can then push up to move straight was by like resetting the thumbstick and then moving again. Because if you did, let's say the camera was going from left to right. If you were moving to the right, meaning you're pushing right on your joystick, if you went to the next screen, you could be going up, but to go up, you had to hold the right. It was just terrible. Yeah, the quiz was hard though.
I mean, the controls were horrible, even in like the main,
The camera
like
angle.
the fixed camera angles, and then you go like 10 feet, and then all of a sudden it's switching to the next screen for the load times, and then you were pushing up to go one way, but then when it changes screens, if you push up, you're now going back the opposite way back to the screen you're on. It was just like, who made this?
Yeah.
But the camera was so bad. Like you're running and you're like, okay, do I keep running? Do I get to another land or what's going on here? And
Yeah.
you just keep, and it just shows him like running, but he's not going
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
could
then
be
the map was horrendous.
you could be way off too, where you don't even see yourself. You're way far
Yeah.
away. Says,
And
am I
then
even over there?
You gotta
Yeah,
pick
just
up,
blending in.
you gotta pick up trash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
then
did
if
a
you
lot
go
of
back
that.
and forth, the trash just reappears.
Yeah.
So you just
Yeah.
keep doing it to get money. You put
Exactly.
it in the trash and you get money. And I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't even find where to buy the hats.
So did you ever get the map?
I got the map
I
like
did.
after an hour of running around. 'Cause
Same.
I remember you telling me, hey, just a little heads up, the map is at the beginning. I could
Yep.
not find this guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
same.
I got it, and then you push the button, the map is worthless because
Yeah.
it just shows you kind of where the rides are, but it's like, I need to find the guy who sells the hats.
Yeah.
I couldn't even find it.
So the guy that sells the hats is Woody Woodpecker at the beginning. And he sells the hats. Now, I gave Brad some hints so he can run through it a little bit quicker. And so he got to do some of the rides that I didn't do. But yeah, finding the map was like the most important thing. And then after that, talking to random people would give you little hints. I thought that was kind of
They
cool.
just kept asking me, where are you going to go next? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I can't even find the hats. So I couldn't
Yeah.
I got on, I think, 2 rides, and then after that you need the hats. I couldn't figure it out. I ran around that fucking park for 2 hours. I couldn't find anything. I just gave up.
Yeah, there was a dude that told me like, "Oh, Woody Woodpecker has the hats," and so I just
Yeah.
went back. But you have to talk to some random dude. Also, what's up with like their fascination with like the rumble feature being able to be turned on and off?
And the guy's like holding
Just
the
leave it
control. all weird.
on.
You see the way he's holding the control?
Yeah,
I didn't understand what that was. Like, what is that? It's
It
a
was-
purple
it was a-
GameCube control.
Doesn't make any sense.
It was a girl.
It was a girl?
And she was just like shaking the
Yeah.
remote. I was just like,
Yeah, that was a
what in
guy.
the world? Like, it should be as simple as you push start, you go to options and it says rumble feature and you toggle it on and off. Like, why is it?
yeah. They put a whole person in the game and just so you can, whatever.
So I have a theory with that is, I don't know if you remember on GameCube, I think it was called the Wavebird?
Wavebird, yeah.
And I know the rumble feature would drain the batteries fast. So maybe that was at the time where people were complaining about that. So they're like, we need an additional way to turn the rumble
It
feature
was right
on.
near the beginning, so that's possible.
Yeah. Oh, I remember another thing. When you're trying to go through the menu, because most time it's like actually they say the
words.
words in this game. You try to push A to like go to the next screen, and it will be like yes or no. Like, do you want to go on this ride? And it always starts on the no option. So you keep clicking it, and then you accidentally hit no because you're trying to get through the dialogue. So I think Richard and I both did it where it's like we must have gone through the same conversation 10 times just to get to push yes. It was
Yeah, because like the conversation was just long enough that you're wanting to push A to get through the conversation, but as soon as you hit that A the last time, it's already on that next thing without really showing you, and you're like, wait, I want it on the ride. What's
Yeah.
up, Woody?
So I only got to do Jaws, and he almost destroyed my whole boat. Like, I couldn't figure it out, and then you pick up the barrels, and you guys so slow, and then like you hit Jaws, and then like a second later, he's on the other side of the boat. It's like, okay, how did he get there that fast?
Yeah.
So then you go over, and then he just bites your boat, then he knocks you over, and then your boat just keeps getting smaller and smaller. I beat that. I don't know how I did that.
I think that speaks to like our level of gameplay maybe, because Brad beat it rather easily. You beat it, but he kind of beat you up. I didn't even hit him once. He ate my boat. I sank immediately.
you climbed the
Yeah, and it
mast,
just said, "Oh, sorry," and then it booted me out. I couldn't even get back on the ride.
because the
line
line was
was
too big,
long.
right?
Yeah.
The line's too big.
What'd you think about it though? Do you have any?
Well, I started playing when I thought the beginning was really, really good. I liked the way it was the official music, which is always good. And, it just, I'm not going to lie, the intro got me into it because it was the right music. And it's like, it was really cool.
agreed.
And I vaguely remember that I had played it before, or at least seen you guys play it. Walking around, like I said, like you guys all said, it's pretty much the same thing. I couldn't figure out where it was going for a while, and then I walked up to somebody and it said you need a map or something. So then I had to go back to the front because that's where the map was supposed to be. And then I talked to some guy and he said something about the park is cool or fun or whatever. I went back out again. Eventually, I talked to that same guy and he had a map. So, or it looked like the same guy.
They all kind of did.
I guess maybe he has to have 2 icons. I guess it's an exclamation point or something else. It seemed like that's when he had the map. When he had to one, it didn't seem like he had it. I'm guessing. I guess I got an e-ticket somehow. I don't remember. And then I went on the, what was it, Back to the Future and Biff. I tried that thing over and over again. And I wasn't sure if because me, when I have a tendency I don't like to read the intro, what you're supposed to do sometimes, so I'll kind of click it too fast. And so then I started hitting it, and I seen the bar was going down. So I was like, well, it's what you have to do. But then it seemed like it was hard. And I wasn't even close at the first couple times. So I think, well, maybe
Was
maybe
everyone
more to
playing
it.
on easy as well?
I
Like
put
I
it
played
on
on
easy.
easy.
No, I was in the middle, medium, whatever. Maybe that's
normal,
why.
yeah.
Normal, there you go. Maybe that's why. So then I did that for a while, and then the controller would not let me move to the left or where it was just hitting the wall on the right. So I backed out.
Was that is that a controller malfunction?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it was. I'm not sure if it was a controller. I mentioned it to Brad, I think you guys were texting at the time. You said it was the game itself, but all I know is that's what it did. And then Waterworld, I just sat down to the right and watched the plane come in, and then I could not go back to the left to try the seats over there, because at that point the controller wasn't working. So I did a lot of running around, getting the trash.
You didn't miss anything in the Waterworld one. You literally sit down and it's just a different angle of the same.
I did see that, but I'm saying is I couldn't move. I was to the far right.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of moving to the right, and I was going to work my way back, and I couldn't get the controller to go back. So I backed out of that. Everything out. I tried to go on the other stuff, and they said it was full, and so I wasn't sure where to go. It's weird that you run towards yourself. The controls are really weird, and then when you're running, you can be way off in the distance. You can barely see yourself, and that's where you're supposed to go, which is kind of weird. Pick up a lot of trash. You had to get the letters to try to spell Universal Studios for. I don't remember what you get, but I liked the intro. Thought the intro was really good. I thought if you were younger, especially, apologize to the guys doing the lawn. So if you hear that, so we're gonna try to avoid that. If you're younger, I think, and you hear the intro, it's the right music and everything. I think it would definitely get you into it because I thought it was really cool.
I
other
think,
than that,
Sorry to cut you off. I think we agree. The best part was, given that we went to the Universal Studios when we were kids, and you go now, it's very different than it was back then. So it's nice to kind of play the game and be like, oh, I remember Back to the Future was there, and Jurassic Park looked a lot different, and Backdraft and some of those things. So I think that was kind of the coolest part for me as well.
Yeah, the map I thought was kind of worthless for me
because you couldn't tell which way you were going on.
Yeah,
when you were walking.
I could not find the Waterworld at first. I went back and forth, couldn't find it, and it was frustrating to find it. And then when I found the Waterworld, it wasn't that big of a deal anyway.
Yeah.
So I never did see the ones you were talking about, the other one with the game, how to do the game and all that stuff. I never got to any of those. I played it for a while.
Once you finished that quiz, there's like 3 other games she wants you to play with her. I was like, I'm not doing it.
I played all of them. One was like a game where you just try and make the puzzle fit. And the other one, what was the other one? I don't remember, but it wasn't worth a dang.
What point did you realize this is going to be a bad game? Because for me, as soon as
the controls,
Woodpecker started talking, his voice was ass. I'm like, this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, the controls. Like, if you can't figure that part out, well, you're not going to figure. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even make a game where you can run right. Like, I don't trust the rest. And like I said, every ride, which I mean, kind of a little segue. Which rides did everyone get onto?
I just got on Jaws.
That's it.
And then the quiz.
And you got
Back
on
to the Future and Waterworld.
Waterworld.
To me, the
Waterworld's not really getting on anything.
Yeah. To me, the best one was Jurassic Park. You were sitting in the back of a Jeep, and you were just shooting raptors, man.
It was like a rail shooter.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. Brad, I saw you play a Western one.
The Western one was cool. I mean,
how did you get on the other things? Because everything I went to said it was full.
You had to go get the hats.
So there's a guy. There's a guy. If you come across and you talk to him, he says, "Oh, do you know if you get a hat, like it's basically like a front of line pass. You get unlimited access to the ride. So that's what the points are. You go back to Woody, you buy hats. I bought the cowboy hat and the Backdraft one. There was one more I did. Jaws.
Well, how did you know Woody had the hats? Because
There was a guy that told me.
Pushed
I went to spoke to pretty much everyone. Nobody told me anything. They just kept saying, "Where are you gonna go next? Where are you gonna go next?"
I got lucky and clicked the right guy. I guess I'm not too sure.
You were talking about the guys like that work there, right?
No, it could have just been anybody. Just a random person.
They all look the same though. So how do you?
I think it was by Mel's Diner. You can talk to everybody in the game. They just probably all say the same thing.
That is one thing that I did notice too. Is that if you're a couple times when I went to go get the trash, or somebody walking by, and it would go on that person when I wanted to get the trash because they're right there. So it was kind of a little irritating. But
and he'd say like, "This is amazing," and then you go like 6 feet to the left. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I mean, overall, if the question is, does this game, I guess, live up to your expectations? I would say, again, I had low expectations, and it still was horrible. But it's a cheap GameCube game, so it was nice going back. But it wasn't anything I would recommend to anybody. Even my 3-year-old was just not interested in it. So I think it's a no for me.
Yeah. Backdraft, there was a like as you went, there was like fire that was like sentient, and it would shoot fireballs like in your direction, and then if you moved to the right, like then it would just like change its trajectory, and I'm like, yeah, this is not a good game.
Well, and that was a funny one too, because Brad, it gives you a 15-minute timer, and we're like 15 minutes. It took Brad like 15 minutes, and then he finds a person. You're supposed to save these people that are behind the fire. They're just spinning in a circle like randomly, and Brad goes out the exit, and he's like, "I did it," and then I said, "You failed."
You
but it still
did
gave him a
not.
stamp.
Yeah,
Still gave him a stamp.
I have a quick question on the Biff.
Yeah.
How far did he get before you actually beat him?
You get into the fire zone. So it starts in like the
I
world,
know,
and then
I
it goes
know
to
that.
ice,
Trust
and
me,
then it
I
goes
know
to
that. I did it
the
over and over.
lava area. And I think I had 20 seconds left.
Oh, okay, because I was not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how close it was, but I mean, he would laugh at me at the very end
but
and
if
go
I
away.
remember correctly, because I didn't get to play it, but his voice sounds nothing like
Nothing like it.
No.
That
It's-
100%
It
sure.
gets irritating over time because he says the same thing over and over again when you're losing.
Yeah, when you hit him and stuff, you have to be, like I said, I was playing on the medium. I guess I know that you have to. It almost like baits you when you're going and he's getting ready to go to the corner, and if you go straight to try to hit him, the last second he'll turn, and then you'll hit the side. So you almost have to not hit him and make sure you make the turn really good, and then catch him on the way out of the turn. But then I ran out of time.
Well, the L and R buttons were drift.
Yeah,
And if you drifted, you'd come out of the drift a little boostier.
Yeah, I was using
And
them.
but it was hard
So
even on easy.
If they had Biff, I think his name's Tom Wilson, would it have made it a little bit better?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No. Who cares? He's still
because
just
it's
saying.
Biff.
It wouldn't have made that part better, but I think it would have put you. It would
For
have
the
been
amount of
more
money-
immersed in it if you have, like at the beginning, you have the Back to the Future music. It sounds just like it's all licensed. Anytime you have something that's licensed, it just seems more quality, because obviously if they got licenses, then they're directly involved in it, and so.
But I feel like for the target audience, they wouldn't know who Biff is anyways, and the amount of money you're paying him because he's a
He's an A-lister.
Yeah, he's nameless.
No, I don't.
cost
I
a
don't
pretty
think
penny,
so. I
so.
think if you're a little kid or older to know what it is, and you're gonna know what Back to the Future is, and if you hear Biff, it's just gonna be that much better. It's never gonna be a negative to have the official people in the game.
It's not a negative. I'm not saying it's a negative. It's
Once
just-
again,
it's not
But if I'm not mistaken, Woody Woodpecker's voice
It's
was
horrible.
What it really was, right? That's how he really sounds.
Oh,
but
really?
they couldn't get
Yeah.
Biff. They
Sound
couldn't get
terrible.
Tom Wilson to do Biff, but they can get Woody Woodpecker.
Well, they
Well, some guy doing
prioritized
it.
Woody.
Woody's not a
over
real
Biff.
person.
But
or
they got
thing, you
that's
know?
how his voice sounds. They could have got somebody to sound like Biff, or just got him.
I could have
What
done
does
it.
Biff even sound like? Like, who cares? The game sucked. Like,
If he would have just had one line and just went, butthead, it would have been better.
Yeah, and he's right though.
you know what? They
Keep
should have
repeating-
hired you, Brad. You did it.
Keep repeating the same thing.
Or
over and over
what's
is the
another
problem.
phrase he says? Or if he would have said like one of those lame ones like, have a nice trip, see you next winter, or something dumb like that. And you're
I
like,
think
it's
it's-
fall.
yeah.
Yeah, like that would have been better, but I don't know.
I thought the graphics were good for the time. You got to keep that in perspective. Obviously, not with today. So I think it was. I think I could see if you were playing it back then, that you could think that this game is awesome, because if you're especially if you're a Universal fan, because we always do that.
hype.
We always do that.
a
When
hot
you
take.
play it back then and you're a little kid, and just imagine being, just remember, try to put yourself back in there. It's the time. So the graphics are the graphics that you are using now. You got to get rid of today. So that in your mind is a given.
Yeah, but
And
things
then
things
you
in that
rent
era
the
were like
game.
Luigi's Mansion.
You rent the
and
game,
Wind Waker.
and
you got
you're
that.
a Universal fan. That's why you rented it. And then the very beginning is Back to the Future. It puts you right into it. So, in my opinion, if you played it back when it originally came out, you're gonna think it's better than when you're playing it now because of the graphics and stuff. So, that's all I can say is that I thought it was good. I got a little bored and a little frustrated. But I thought the graphics were okay, and I thought the official music was spot on. I think that was really good.
They sold him with the 30-second beginning of the movie or beginning of
just
the
seemed
game,
like
and he's like, "I'm in."
It just seemed if you
Yeah.
turned it. Just imagine this: if you turned the game on, and it just had Back to the Future, but it was some garage band doing it,
well, no.
and it's like,
I mean,
okay, well,
but
this
they
clearly
own-
isn't
yeah.
clearly isn't quality. So the minute you see the graphics are decent, they're the graphics of the day.
I don't.
They
I,
weren't
yeah,
the
I-
So
graphics of the day, though.
they
That's
are
the thing.
well, they are on the GameCube, and and then you hear the music. It's just
The beginning was fire. I'll give the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, the beginning was legit, and then the game started, and it was trash.
But then you have to keep this in mind too. I have a surround sound that goes to my CRT, so I get that extra the extra dinosaur and everything
So
at the
you got
beginning.
you got the official Biff.
So
yelling
yeah,
at you.
exactly. But I mean, I have much better sound, so I'm not listening to
That
this
was
on
a
the CRT TV.
Very strange flex.
I'm listening to it on the
Yeah,
CRT
my CRT.
with the surround sound. So when you have the beginning and it does the dinosaur
Isn't that
roar
my
and everything,
surround
it sounds good.
Did anybody get to ET?
Yeah, I did ET.
Yeah.
Brad.
Oh, I
did
did
ET.
that too.
What
I
did you
forgot.
want ET? Because I was trying to get to ET, but I just kept running into long lines.
I did do that.
You just ride the bike.
Okay, I got
What are
something
you-
to say on that.
What are you going? What's chasing you?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's a time.
It's a
basically
timer.
time.
Yeah, you're trying to get him to a ship.
So is ET in the front of the basket or something?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was just you pushed again. The controls were the worst part of it. The controls they just ruined it. And then there was a weird part where you get like 3/4 of the way through and it shows ET and you flying like in front of the moon, and you're like, but I didn't beat it yet. And then it just starts back up again, and you're like,
Yeah.
weird little piece in
So
the middle there.
In the movie, remember, once you got to that point, like, you were flying over the forest, no one could catch you anymore. In this, like, I think Richard described it the best was, it's like they expected you to fail and they wanted you to see that. So they're like, halfway through, we'll show you flying by the moon.
Yeah, why couldn't they just put it at the end? It would
But,
have made more sense.
I mean, once again, this baby was 480 interlaced. This is not, this
Yeah,
is
it
not
was-
good quality.
Yeah.
The thing is, on that part I did play that. I forgot you said that. That was the one I used my e-ticket on, and you're going sideways the whole time. So controlling yourself sideways as far as depth and up and down on the screen is a little difficult.
Yeah.
There's a part where you can't even tell what it is. It's kind of like blurry, and then you go through it. It's like sand or something. You get stuck
Mud
in.
or something,
Yeah, then
yeah.
you realize, but you couldn't really tell exactly. You could
You
see it was a
couldn't
little
tell
different.
on your CRT.
Well, you
Should've
could
been
see
popping.
you could see that it's different, but you can't actually. It doesn't actually look
It
like
just
mud.
looks like gooey.
Yeah, so I thought
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. And then how to land, you have to make sure you land the right way because you keep falling over if you land the wrong
Yeah.
way.
Well,
But I
see,
thought it was pretty neat, but it was difficult to control because you're going sideways.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's still up is up, even though you're
Yeah,
going sideways.
mhm.
So to go down when you're going sideways, naturally, I don't know, like your brain is just like, oh, I need to go down.
I got
let
the
me-
hang of it pretty quick though. I
and
actually
just-
enjoyed that.
Yeah, you couldn't.
well, I heard, or I didn't. It wasn't a secret, but again, I talked to one of those random people, and they told me when you're in ET, make sure you land on the back tire,
Right.
so you don't fall.
Yeah, that's why you do it.
And so I'm like, okay, so I did that, but there were, I think that was kind of cool. There were little tips and tricks you can learn from certain people in the game that would tell you things based on certain rides or where to get hats. There were some cool stuff. I think they had some decent ideas, but the execution was questionable at best.
So it sounds like I played the least, and it was my idea.
I mean, but you had
You-
the best memory. When
You were the most familiar
yeah.
with it as well.
Yeah. I just couldn't get past.
So what about what do you think? Because it was you the one you remembered it being so good. So what do you honestly think now that you played it the second time, or not second time, but currently?
It's definitely not as bad as you guys are saying it is. At least a little bit I played.
I didn't say it was bad. They did.
I do agree the beginning is probably the best. It gets you all jacked up. Like,
Well,
okay, this is gonna be good.
Right, remember
Yeah,
when I
that's
started playing it, I sent you a video
Yeah, you
like,
did.
oh, dude, look at the beginning. It's great.
Yeah, I
and
saw
I was
that
like,
video
oh,
too.
Jared might have been onto
Yeah.
something here. And
I
then,
saw that
And-
video too.
And it was the beginning gets you all like jacked up. Like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. And then as soon as your character they run weird. Like he
Mm-hmm.
runs like he's trying to go fast, but he's not getting anywhere. And he runs over
like a dream.
He kinda
run.
Oh, like a
he
little
kinda-
kid.
yeah, he kind of prances over to.
It's like a
Woody
little kid.
Woodpecker,
You're
and
running-
as
going
soon as
around.
Woody opens his mouth, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be brutal.
So it didn't hold up. Or do you still like it?
I actually still like it.
I mean, I'm glad I have
I
it.
actually still like it. I got it for 20 smacks, as you'd like to say.
20 smacks, good job.
So I do still
25.
like it. I think you can only play maybe 30 minutes to an hour here and there.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely saved it because I have plans on going back to it.
Oh.
So I saved it twice.
Well, speaking of saving, here's the one thing Brad and I noticed.
Oh.
I had gotten pretty far in the game, but Brad was doing different levels. And so when he went and he was playing on my GameCube at my house, and I was trying to flex on my GameCube.
Yeah, on your CRT. Yeah.
No,
I
he doesn't.
have a garbage
He
TV.
doesn't have a CRT.
But there's only one save file. So even though you say like start new game and save, you can only save it
Yeah.
on one save file unless you have another memory card
Yeah.
in slot B. Then you can save it again. So on one memory card, you can only save one file. So he completely erased mine. And again, was that how it was back in the day on those games? And we're gonna find out the more we play. I don't remember.
And that's
but-
the thing you have to remember is that this is an older game, so you do need the memory card. I mean, if you haven't played one or you just put it in, and you think, you can't save it without it. It's not like you can just go down on the corner
Well,
and buy one. So you definitely need one.
I turned it on and it says you have no memory card in slot 1, and I'm like, I
Exactly.
just bought it off of like eBay. So I'm thinking, did I get screwed? And then it says you have to reformat it, and I didn't know what the hell it was. So I put yes and said, okay, reformat it. I'm like,
It
what am I
deletes.
That's what I said. Yeah,
I was so confused. But it worked. So, but I saved it twice because I have plans on going back to it.
Yeah, things were confusing back then, man. Brad, what'd you think?
The only thing that this game provides is at Universal Studios now, if you haven't been, they don't have Back to the Future anymore. They don't have E.T. Jurassic Park's now Jurassic World. They don't have Backdraft. So you're able to revisit the older days of Universal Studios. Other than that, I mean, I'm not saying avoid it, but why would I play it again? Like,
Yeah.
it's boring. Just after like 20 minutes, you're like, oh, that's all I do. Like, I just pick up trash so I can collect coins to buy a hat so I can go on a ride. Like, I don't know. It's just weird.
And where were his parents, by the way? He's running around the park.
It was
Causing
the
mischief.
80s, I think. They didn't have.
It's a good point, though. It's a really good point, though, Brad. Is I did kind of think that when I was playing it as well, is those rides are no longer there.
Yeah.
So that is cool that you actually kind of get to see that. For us that remember those, a lot of people will go. We went recently and they won't remember those were even there.
Yeah.
So you're right. That's a really good
So
point.
what you're saying, the best part about the game is the intro and the cover?
Yeah, the artwork and the intro. I mean, and the manual that has some pictures of everything. It's cool to have. It's nice to have for 20 smacks. It's a good deal. I paid 30 smacks, so I feel like I got ripped off. But that was a hot take.
That was perfect timing. It was my phone.
But yeah, I'm glad we started with a game that was horrible, so maybe we can build up.
So you think it's
from there.
horrible?
It's just
It's not worth playing ever again. I'm glad I have it.
come
It's
on,
glad it's in the
dude.
collection. If my son was like, hey, what's Universal Studios like? I'm not showing him this.
yeah.
So shouldn't we have some kind of a scale?
Yeah, what about 1 through 100? So that way, well, because the more games the more games we cover, you're
I
gonna
meant
want.
like
I hear you.
Yeah.
play it again, don't play it again, or it stinks or something like that. I went through 100.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I would just say at $30, stay away. At $20, good
Yeah.
deal.
At 15, I love it. 18.99, I hate it. So if you can get a deal, if it's like that's like a throw-in game. Like you're trying to barter with some guy. I don't know why I said barter, and you're just like, oh hey, let me get this, and then the guy's just like, I keep my price, but I throw this in there, and you're just like, all right. That's kinda
I
like the way it
personally
is for
think
me.
that you guys are tainted with the games today. I know you guys. You're my
No.
boys. By the way, these are my sons. I don't think we even mentioned that. My oldest, Jared's the middle, and Brad's my youngest.
Not my dad.
I don't think that I even
He's our
mentioned that. I personally, I think they're tainted with the games today. I think unfortunately that's what happens with the graphics and everything. Because I played Atari and stuff, so I know. I think that they.
I mean, compared to ET,
I think they're being. I think they're being a little
thing.
harsher when they say it's a throw in and stuff like that. That's my opinion. They're entitled to their own, but
I don't know
You know.
because I love 8-bit games. Jared's watched me play like that. Remember what was that game where you just like I was like fighting an alligator or something? I was like a boxing game or something.
Oh, yeah. And it was supposed to be like Mike Tyson.
I don't even remember what it was called, but like you just work out and it was like pixelated in 8-bit, and I thought that game was great. It's just the content.
it kind of be boring. It could be kind of boring.
Yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
like, I'm glad I played it again because I do
Right.
remember going like, oh yeah, and you're right after the intro, you're like, man, this is like I'm jonesing.
All right,
I'm
so
playing.
let's use your scale out of 100. So 1 to 100, 1 being bad, 100 being good. What do you give it, Brad?
Okay, I'm just gonna go with a solid 39. It's a little lower than what I think Metacritic put, and I'll put that up on the screen so you can see. Yeah, it's just wasn't appealing, boring, graphics suck.
Okay.
I would say about a 67.
67.
I feel
Okay.
like you guys are a little harsh. Graphics are okay. The intro is what raises it.
25
It would
points.
have been
over
at,
Metacritic.
it would have been at about a 75, but then as soon as Woody Woodpecker starts talking, it drops it.
I feel like you're almost rating it that way because you're like, well, I picked it. I remember being good, so I want to be like not wrong. But I support your argument there. I'm gonna do the same thing with the game I picked, but I think I'd give it like a 48. It's not good. It's bad,
most
but
like-
it's not the worst thing I've ever played. But it's pretty dang
So
bad.
you're rating it most likely higher than Metacritic.
I'm giving it 48.
Okay.
I'd say 54. I think I enjoyed the intro. Got me into it. Got me, like you said, hyped up. A little frustrating. The graphics I thought were fine because in my mind, I know the time frame that it was in. So I'd say 54. I think it's I I think it's worth playing.
Okay.
All right.
Can I just do one
Yeah.
final thing? Didn't Halo come out like the same year?
2002.
But now you're comparing Xbox to Nintendo. That's a whole
No,
other
I'm just
deal.
saying like the game's graphics are bad.
But it's also Xbox compared to GameCube.
That's what I'm saying.
Still.
No,
I mean,
GameCube was
Luigi's
pretty
Mansion,
powerful, bro, compared to some of those things.
All
around
right,
this
we're
time.
digressing.
anyway.
All right, so we're gonna,
So this week, it's my turn, right? My turn to pick a
your
game.
turn,
So I
yes.
picked a game. I picked a game that I loved.
Okay.
I loved it. I loved it so much. I went and I had to pick it back up. With, I think I bought it for like $40. 40 smacks. Sorry.
Okay.
And that was like about a year ago. It. You want me to give you some hints on what it is?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's it's a disc-based game.
okay.
Okay. There's a new one of these, I guess, kind of coming out, and I think it's coming out in a couple months. And some of the games are hit and miss, but I feel like this was like the pinnacle for me of this game.
Okay, what kind of genre? You gotta give us.
Adventure. I might have just gave it away.
Oh.
Adventure.
Are they making a new Banjo-Kazooie?
I wish.
I guess that means no.
No.
So you're going
Not that I
with
know of.
everyone gets one guess, and then I'll bring it
Okay,
out.
I'm gonna get rid of my guess now.
Well, you
Jared,
said
you
it was
can.
disc based, so.
Yeah, disc-based.
Yeah, but was it nuts and bolts?
Oh,
okay.
well played.
Like how I dropped that one.
The worst one. Go ahead.
I'll let Jared go first. Circle back. We'll circle back to me.
Wow.
Just guess. Let's go. Anything.
It's an adventure game. Star Wars? I don't know.
Wrong.
No idea. I was thinking something like Resident Evil or something like that, remaster or something. I don't know.
No.
No clue.
Time Splitters.
Time Splitters wrong. All right.
It's not even adventure.
Wow, I jumped all the way. That Time Split is wrong.
So
Oh, okay.
Sonic Adventure.
Ah.
That's why when I said adventure, I'm like, I think I gave it away.
Okay.
This
Yeah, because
to
Adventure's
me,
only in that.
this was the game back in the day. I remember playing this thing like religiously. Like,
Leaning up on the thing there.
so you guys were talking about, this game. You remember playing it, and I was like, I don't remember playing
You're
it.
probably not going to see it. It's probably a little blurry there, but it's a Dreamcast game.
I loved this game. So I actually, when I bought it a year ago, I played for like maybe 15 minutes, and then I stopped and didn't go back. But I'm excited to play it this upcoming week because I really think we're all going to be in for a treat. And with Sonic Frontiers coming out in about a month or 2 months, I think this is a good way to get us ready for
Well, I
that next
remember
Sonic
the
game.
first time I saw that, we had Nintendo 64. I remember going into Best Buy, and they had that playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it makes Nintendo 64 look terrible. So when we saw it, like, man, this thing's insane. And then I heard the console had issues and all that, so we ended up not getting it right away. But one thing I do remember about that game is Biggs the Cat.
Biggs the Cat.
Do you remember him?
I do not.
Okay.
Nope.
I remember the
Trade.
whale at the beginning. Remember that?
You're in for a
It's an
treat.
orca. It's a killer whale. Yeah, it comes out of the water. I remember
When you
that.
see that for the first time, you're like, they
This
did it.
is
They did it. Sega's back. The Dreamcast will win this battle. And we were wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah, so I guess we can talk about something we remember from it. I remember once again the cameras being horrendous.
That was maybe a theme back then.
No, I remember it being fun. I remember you can use the second remote controller, and like if Tails was there, like you can control her. I think it's a girl, right?
Tails is a boy.
Yeah.
It's a boy.
Tells the
It's
boy.
a high pitched
Just
boy.
sounds like a chick.
Tells the
You
boy,
can like control him, and you're like on the screen for like 11 seconds. You're like, oh yeah, and then because I would do that with Jared, and then he would just keep playing, and I'd wait patiently for Tails to reappear.
Yeah, I remember you can play the VMU too, right? Remember?
Yeah.
You
There was
can
like
use
an
the
egg.
VMU to
There was like
play.
an
Yeah,
egg
yeah.
game or something.
You're telling me you don't remember Biggs the Cat?
Face forward, Jared.
No, I don't. Was he like a vendor that you buy things from?
Talk into the mic.
You
I
don't
don't-
remember Biggs the Cat?
I'm sure I will once I see the game, but no. I didn't play those as much as you guys. You got to remember, I was the baby brother, so like I would get last dibs. I'd get to play for 11 minutes and then get punched in the head.
Okay.
Okay. Do you remember playing it at all?
Nope.
All
I
right.
don't remember. I don't think I even played the games around this time.
Maybe not. Maybe you were working while we were playing.
I don't
games.
remember.
Yeah, probably.
No, I remember there was a game on Dreamcast you played, but maybe you didn't play this one. But either way,
Yeah.
should be fun.
I'm excited for it. Again, Universal Studios I think was horrible. Glad that's over. It is what it is. Sonic Adventure. I picked this one. I think we're all in for a treat. Anything you guys got?
Yeah, I just want to say if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and thumbs up. We'd greatly appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe. And that's really going to do it. So see you guys in our next video. All right.
Peace.
Bye.